Hi, you guys. Just a moment. Okie dokie. I just want to get that done. Okay, so how are you guys? Thank you for joining me. It's kind of an ongoing series because I want to get all of this information kind of wrapped up in this new moon eclipse that we had. That's kind of the new order. Welcome, new subscribers. Don't be afraid of the horoscope, the astrology of this. Please don't be afraid of it. Just like the tarot, like a Celtic cross, has certain positions for cards and they mean something the same all the time. Same with the horoscope. There's 12 houses, 12 places, 12 themes, and I put the cards there, and that's how we discuss the theme. So don't feel like you need to know astrology at all. I try to incorporate it so you can learn a little bit at a time, but that's not really what the... So the other thing is, new subscribers, welcome. Please do me a favor and double check your subscriptions notifications, because mine frequently get turned off by the algorithms and powers that be. Kind of stinks. That's why I'm like kind of redoing everything this month, so you'll be seeing more changes. Before I forget, I have to put a plug out there for the new Star Wars movie. My disclaimer is that I've not been paid by anyone to do a review. It's just something that I noticed tonight. The family was surprised at what bad reviews it got because they loved it. They enjoyed it. I loved it. I mean, even in our movie reviews, I totally believe that there's a disinformation war on that. I mean, everyone thought this was going to be a bad movie and they couldn't believe how great it was. As viewers, I'll tell you what you like. Well, the good side has to fight the bad side. There were several times where there were feelings of hopelessness, very much the same themes and quotes I have seen from viewers' comments, and being so intimidated by a force that just seems to be so much more strength and power and so dark. As they're battling them, there's a quote that came out, and I just remember watching this in the movie thinking, oh, that's why they're getting bad reviews. Because one of the main characters said, there's more of us than them. I think they said it 2 or 3 times. So I don't think this administration wants anyone to get any wild ideas about trying to overthrow the dark side, because there's more of us than them. There's resistance fighters. And you know, if you noticed, social media, the hashtag resistance, I think essentially has been clamped down. It's gone into a dark hole, a black hole, where all those other hashtags, especially ones related to marches and organizing, they're all gone. If you look in your local city for trends, you're just going to find the weirdest stuff trending with only like maybe 1,000 tweets or posts about it. So this is part of the media blackout. It's a fun movie. You don't have to know every single trilogy about it. From a resistance fear part of it, it's just so therapeutic. If you can reframe fear in any way that you can, do it. Because another thing I wanted to talk about was fear and reframing fear. And we actually got started on that on the last video, because I was realizing kind of how upsetting the read was going to be for sensitive viewers, because I know as I first looked at it before I started recording, I was getting really upset. And I had figured out a way that the baseline is upsetting, getting the basic information. But then as we went through it and saw what was happening, it feels much better. But we're going to practice our stress skills. For those of you who are sensitive, what this is, the topic is the ACA in healthcare right now under this administration. It's not good. It's not good. These cards are going to make you really angry when you see who's doing what to manipulate healthcare. But the good news is that I contrast that with the divine feminine, because I already did the Taroscope for the divine feminine. So you'll see where divine feminine has already picked places to start working. And these cards I was laying around, this is how the eclipses are going to touch healthcare in these areas, and where it's going to get started. I mean, remember, we're going to have multiple eclipses over eclipses, but the sun is conjunct the south node right now, which has to do with releasing stuff we no longer need. The north node, which is in the sign Cancer right now, which is near the U.S. U.S.'s sun sign, is good for us. Like I said, it doesn't matter if you know astrology or not, but for those of you who do know the astrology, I want to point something out that I forgot to point out last time with this. This is the new moon eclipse. I don't want to pick up this paper because my cards are going to fly out. I have them nicely organized. However, this is Earth. These are the constellations. And the constellations don't move, the Earth moves. But we can't put all these things in the little planet Earth, so it's just easier to read this way. So when we had this new moon, the sun and moon were conjunct down here, and it was nighttime. This was at 12:13 a.m. on Thursday. So if you look at this line going straight down, this is kind of like right below your feet. If you're standing at the Washington Monument, at this time, this is where you would have the moon and Jupiter conjunct right now here. If you look to the east and you could see the constellations coming over the eastern horizon, you would see the sign of Libra coming over the eastern horizon. And right above you, looking straight up, you would see the sign of Cancer. This eclipse is the change in the order, the new order, whatever you want to talk about. The past is the past. Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto together in Capricorn since 1839 BC. We had Saturn, Pluto conjunct in Capricorn as recently as the 1500s. This is rare stuff. And Capricorn has to do with governments, structures, establishment, authority. So this horoscope is really sets the tone for our new world order. This makes me laugh because on the ascendant at 4 degrees Libra, which is ruled by Venus, Venus has to do with women, money, gains, partnerships. Talk about divine feminine getting a leg up in DC. Donald's Neptune is 4 degrees retrograde in Libra. So for the until the next Saturn-Pluto conjunction, his lies and deceit about money are being held open there. It's at the post there, being held, can't wiggle around. And we have the sun and moon squaring it. The sun usually represents the president, the moon represents the people. His Jupiter, good luck, miracles, healing, all the good stuff, that's at 17 degrees Libra. And what's so fascinating about that is when we have the full moon eclipse, I think it's going to be at 10 degrees Cancer in about a couple weeks. 10 degrees is going to be squaring these 2 points and creating more attention. Full moons expose things and reveal things. Well, not only is it going to square it, it's going to split the Neptune-Jupiter in his second house of earned income and money right in half. So it's like the next lunar eclipse is going to separate the lies. It's going to separate the lies, the deception from his good luck and fortune. Those get separated. And that's on the side of the United States of America. He's done. And so this taroscope has to do with healthcare. Now, the most important thing to do, if you notice yourself getting upset, tense, gripping things, you're clenching your teeth, and you start swearing, or any of the above, I want you to try to control your breathing. Breathe as deeply as you can. Exhale as deeply as you can through all of this, and try to keep the in and the out even. We don't want to hold our breath and then just let it and have it kind of erratic. Let's keep it even, because the pace of your diaphragm is related to Saturn and the lungs are related to Mercury. So we want to keep that regulated and stable because it's just a good thing to practice while we're under stress. Also, when we have fight flight, the brain tends to leave our frontal cortex. So what you do is you just rub the tips of your fingers, put the pads of your fingers on your forehead above your eyes, where your forehead kind of sticks out, and just hold it there for at least 5 minutes. At least 5 minutes, because you're touching neurovascular points that help return the blood flow to your frontal cortex, which is your rational brain, to turn off that fight flight. Also, if you're sitting down, if you could somehow, if you're driving, don't do this, okay? But cross your legs, cross your ankles, because we need somehow to keep the energies crossing over the body. Because when we get afraid, our energies go up and down and we get paralyzed, especially looking at a computer screen. Then they can, do the weird audio waves and visual waves to just really attack your pituitary gland with disinformation and psyops. So, good way to protect your energies, because this is going to be stressful, but it's going to get better, okay? But you're still going to want to yell at them. So, this, are you ready? I hope you're breathing deeply, because this is the reading for the ACA. The card on the ascendant, which is the card of the reading, is death. Death in any form, killing off the ACA, people who use the ACA, any form of the ACA. This Trump administration, we all know, they want it dead. And so does Trump supporters, apparently. Keep breathing. So, in the first house, identity, how the ACA identifies itself, defines itself now, is Wheel of Fortune. Some people are lucky to have it, some people are not. Are you on or are you off? For some reason I like going backwards this way. We'll go this way. In terms of income gains, self-worth, value, the value of the ACA we have, well, it's a balancing act with Two of Pentacles, and we all know this too well. And for the government, I think it's just a balancing act of what they can do with that money and manipulate the system just enough in their favor, but they just don't, they've learned that they have to do it, keep it within a certain bounds, because it just causes so much outrage when they start messing with the healthcare. And the third, in terms of communications, publications, agreements, the merchants, children, I would say this could be kind of like the group plans, the ACA. Obstruction. It's bound up. It's hard to access. The plans are complex. They don't advertise. They do nothing. They just want to stop it. In terms of the defense of home, defense of citizens, Americans' health, the health of our security as a nation depends on the health of its citizens. Candidate Donald thinks otherwise. It all depends on him. He's responsible for our security and well-being. He gets to dictate what happens with it. Keep breathing, breathing deeply. Exhale. Keep your hands on your head. Fifth house of the sun, which means the president. Oh, this is my card for news from Russia or overseas. Putin Stubb has lots of input as to what's going on with our healthcare, and I would venture to say I just got a big yes. He's getting kickbacks for all the money that's going into the ACA, because that's what Donald does. They give kickback. We have so much agency money going abroad to pay stub and MBS. In terms of the ACA, the healthcare, sixth house of service. Sixth house has to do with doctors, healthcare physicians, but our public servants and how they investigate things and how they serve the public. Hanged man, it's a different perspective. They're caught, not really doing much. Delays ad nauseum, right? We the people with our health care, we want it badly. We're getting these little itty bitty pieces of health care. We have to pay all this money to get maybe a smidge of this at the right time. It's frustrating. In terms of healthcare and shared resources, the debt related to healthcare, the money that's laundered out of healthcare, the bribes, the whatever, the financial well-being of the ACA and our healthcare system. The mafia is definitely involved with this. The Four of Cups, this is my card for those mafiosos who are here who probably shouldn't be here, is this is what you're going to get and you're going to like it. This plan is being forced upon us with those rules, or it's the people who are yelling at their members of Congress who refuse to do anything about it. As far as lands far away, which should have nothing to do with the American healthcare system, we have outrage. Why would China be outraged by our healthcare system? I'm very puzzled by this because this is my card for China and healthcare. This is a total puzzle to me. Or maybe they know how outraged we are. It's ridiculous. Oh, the world is looking at us like we're ridiculous too. What's crowning the healthcare system? What is it that everyone can see that's wrong with it? The Republican Party is what's wrong with it. What are the hopes and wishes? The technology, the innovation, the revolution with healthcare in USA, it's being stolen from us. Every chance. Keep breathing, you guys. Keep breathing. Secrets, hidden enemies of the ACA, the Knight of Swords. These are the information parasites. It's the disinformation against us. It's the fight that goes against us from having our health care. It is really such a mess. Okay, Divine Feminine, where are you? Where are you? What are you doing about, how are you addressing this? So, healthcare, the Divine Feminine, ooh, she is working hard on that. The Divine Feminine, look at, we have the part of fortune that has to do with shared resources. The money that's going on, who gets it, who doesn't, life and death. She's working on that. That is her, in healthcare. This came in the first house of identity. Life and death, Divine Feminine. This is a very high priority. The Divine Feminine also is working in this third house here of obstruction. You know, how we communicate, how we manage it, how it's facilitated, how neighborhoods and groups and people are able to access it. The Divine Feminine has the Three of Wands related to this, which is having a plan and making progress on it. The Divine Feminine also. Lots of energy going on is working the Four of Cups. all over that, the people who are responsible for making these decisions that are killing Americans. Divine Feminine, these are the areas that she's all over, the first, eighth, third houses. Now, how is the Divine Feminine going to eclipse that? Well, remember this was a card of the reading for the death card. This is how it's getting eclipsed. We're getting a new plan and we're progressing with it. This is how the eclipses are going to touch the healthcare. This is much better. In the first house of part of fortune, who gets it, who doesn't, that's eclipsed by Page of Cups. Good news. And just the news, the youth vote is going to play a part in this. In the second house of income gain, how it's unaffordable, it's hard to get, and they're trying to do whatever behind the scenes. It's going to be eclipsed by addressing how things are being stolen. That's how it's going to get eclipsed. Or we'll find out who's stealing. With the obstruction, the eclipses are going to touch this by turning the Republican Party upside down on its head and exposing them for their corruption there. In terms of candidate Donald, think he's in charge of all of our health. It's going to be eclipsed. He's going to get... Healthcare is another reason why he's going to jail and nobody will vote for him. We can't stand him. He's going to jail. This is always my card of being indicted. It might be more than just him, but this is another reason why people will not vote for him. Fifth house of the sun, news from Russia. They've been sounds like they've been doling out how we implement and decide to do our ACA. That is eclipsed by, fifth house of the sun is trying to hang on to stuff. It's trying to consolidate power. It has a pretty firm grip there. I'm not sure what else this means. I think it's just going to stay as is until Donald's gone. Sixth house, public service, delays. Great. So the delays are going to be eclipsed by more delays? Is that what you're telling me? Or different perspective? No, the whole program's going to get changed. That's how it's going to get started. So everything's in delay right now. The eclipses it's more like, what the heck? It has a different perspective now because it sucks so bad. People are changing their perspective and how it's administered. It's going to take a while for that changeover to come, but it is coming. Seventh house, we the people. All that little bit of health care insurance for all that money. Oh, is this more, it's going to be eclipsed by having it available to more people. They say that this is the card of poverty. I think those who are in poverty will have more access. I feel like they're walking into the church. I think it's going to be more reasonable and accessible for all. Eighth house, how they, mafia involvement with our health care. The emperor is getting eclipsed out of it. Get your grubby hands off because you're going to jail. The outrage, China. I don't know what China has to do with this. They get eclipsed because of security, comfort, because they're getting so much money. Maybe we find out about the oligarchs. Maybe there isn't as much outrage. Maybe, we're feeling a little bit more comfortable with what we have. The Republican Party crowning this are going to get eclipsed by a new plan. More options. they're out of here. This is another reason, just like down here below on this axis of the eclipses, they're out. This has to do with the same thing. Another reason why people are mad at the Republican Party locally and POTUS as the president. As far as hopes and wishes and them shutting down and stealing stuff, that's eclipsed by Temperance. Well, maybe they'll stop being so blatant about it, but it's about trying to blend a bad system with a newer, better system that we're going to get. As far as data being stolen, feels like ACA is just so difficult to work with. This year of December is always kind of difficult at the beginning of the month in this household because it's such a pain in the butt to do. Secrets Hidden Enemies getting eclipsed by, oh, Speaker Pelosi. Look at, you guys, if she, oh my gosh, there's a great chance we will have, the Democrats will win the office of the presidency. There's still a good chance we may take the Senate. If that happens, Pelosi, I think, already has a plan to go. Gosh, where she's passed laws in the House waiting for the Senate to pass. And their diligence and the details, I'm sure when it was first drafted this year, were mighty. Many, many details. So that just makes me really happy. That feels good. Okay, I'm going to stop it there. I think, you guys, if there is a particular area in government you want to hear about, let me know. But I think the next one I'm going to do is environment. But I have gun legislation, labor and wages, education, secondary education, infrastructure, agriculture, immigration, consumer protections, banks, oligarchs, cybersecurity, and the economy. I would like to get to. If there's another area you would like me to look at in government and how it's functioning, I will certainly do that. I will certainly look forward to your suggestions. And so, please proceed. I think the next one I'm going to do is definitely the environment. Thanks, you guys. Have a great day. Oh yeah, please click like and subscribe. Yay!